A lot of people have been telling me that my channel should be a lot bigger than it actually is. So why isn't it? And what's the best boost pedal for the JP2C? And are people still mad at Peavey for moving their business overseas? And how does the Friedman JEL compare to the Badlander? What's the best on-stage monitor for the Quad Cortex? And finally, we're going to talk about this. Oh my God. Cue the flames. Well, hey guys, thanks for joining me for, I think it's episode 20 of Riffs and Responses. If this is your first time here, this is where I read and respond to comments and questions on my channel. And not only do I give verbal responses, but if I can, and usually I can, I will not only answer your questions verbally, but I'll do shootouts, demos, playthroughs, and dial-ins for you as well to answer your questions. So in other words, you're going to get all the information that you came here for. Not only is your question going to be answered, but I'll back it up with demonstrations so that you can make the best decision that works for you. And I cover some news topics, whether it's gear related or industry news or bands, musicians, whatever. You know, anything that's kind of hot. One of them is going to be in this episode. Can't wait to get to that one. So I just cover all kinds of things, and I do some playthroughs on the show as well. So you get a lot of variety here on Riffs and Responses, and the show is ever evolving. And another segment that I just recently added is Album of the Week. I pick an album that's one of my favorites from whether or not I was a kid or growing up or even last week, you know, any time between now and when I was a kid. And I just talk about the album and recommend it to you guys. So let's get started with some Fender Tone Master content right now. Okay, so now we're going to spend a few minutes with the Fender Tone Master Pro. As you may or may not know, I did an unboxing of the unit a couple days ago. A very kind and awesome dude named Keith Martin reached out to me a few days ago and offered to purchase one for the channel so that I can do demos for you guys and do some shootouts and whatnot. And I was just blown away. I mean, I'm still blown away. I mean, it was very, very cool of him to do. And I did a whole dial-in with it, and I already did a first impressions video with it, so this was a second impressions video. And I've spent more time with it since then. By the way, thanks for all the kind words on that video. I appreciate that very much. And anyways, I've spent a little more time with it, and I think I've gotten it sounding even better than I did in the original video. So there's some stuff I've learned about it. I honestly think that some of the values that they have in the unit regarding the levels of the pedals and stuff like that are slightly off. It doesn't sound bad, it's just you have to turn things down lower than you usually do on other units or real pedals. And I started thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? I wonder if those same values are applied to mic placement and stuff like that. And I kind of think they are. So I typically don't, you know, put a mic on the dust cap on speakers. I put it on the crease. But when I did that in that video, because that's what I do, I was kind of like, this sounds really good, but it's a tad dark still. I just wanted that top end I was looking for. And so tonight, I just basically put the mic right on the dust cap, and I was like, there it is. And it actually sounds really good. So I just think that some of the, like I said, some of the values are just off on this. And it doesn't mean it doesn't sound good. It's just you got to get a little creative and rely on your ears more than your eyes when you're dialing stuff in on this. And I'm pretty sure they're going to be updating it and fixing some of that soon. So let me play a couple riffs for you. So this is with the SM7B right on the dust cap of the speaker cabinet. So it is what it is, and I think it sounds better. It's got better top end, and it's not shrill or anything either. So I'm just going to play a riff and see what we all think of it, and then after that, I'll do a full mix. Yeah, that to me sounds a lot closer to what I'm looking for regarding top end. How exact is it? I don't know, but it sounds better anyways. And let's go ahead and hear this in a full mix. This is a new song that I've been working on. It's still not perfect, but I feel like I should at least play it in some videos and get used to playing it on camera so I can get rid of the nerves. So here we go. This one's called Galactic Space Zombies. Man, that's a tough song to play. I hope you guys liked it. Couple of little screw ups in there, but after like 5 takes, you know, I got to just move on and just accept it. So it'll get better as time goes by. I'll get better at it. But yeah, I think this thing sounded great in that song. And I also enjoyed playing through it. And I'm still dialing in the effects and the levels and stuff like that. But I'm almost there. I've been kind of busy with other things today. But I just plopped it on the floor, changed the mic position, and went for it. So so far, I'm really happy with the Tone Master Pro. I'm having a lot of fun with it. And I think that there's a bright future with this thing as long as Fender follows up with proper updates and really turns this thing into the beast that it can be. I mean, the DSP in this thing is insane. I mean, there's tons of DSP, and I really hope that they turn this into a profiler soon. I think this thing would be an amazing profiler. It has the I/O for it, definitely has the DSP for it, so they just got to put that algorithm in there and an update, and I think we're off to the races, and this thing is going to be a huge contender. So stick around and keep your eye on the channel for more content regarding the Fender Tone Master Pro. I'll be doing some shootouts, comparisons, and stuff like that in the near future. Okay, so let's get started with the comments here. This is from Hoagie1259, and this is on my video I just did just the other day, where I unboxed the Fender Tone Master Pro that a really cool guy, Keith Martin, donated to the show. And he said, absolutely stellar human being Mr. Martin is. You as well, Jarrod. Thank you. And so are you. I love the fact that you're honest and don't try to hype stuff that doesn't deserve it. I'm totally surprised that your channel isn't bigger than it is. I guess people don't like honest, no BS reviews of gear. Apparently people like to be told how great everything is. Well, thank you very much for the kind words. I really appreciate that immensely. It really does mean a lot. I noticed that I'm always doing this with my pick when I'm talking. This is kind of weird, but it's what I do, so deal with it. So basically, I'll respond to both parts of your comments here. And so the first part where you said that, I'm totally surprised that your channel isn't bigger than it is. I guess people don't like honest, no BS reviews of gear. Apparently people like to be told how great everything is. Well, I appreciate that. And you made some great points there. I think a lot of people watch YouTube for confirmation bias. I mean, they buy a piece of gear. I've done it, and you're like hoping that whoever you're watching review it likes it, and they don't find something wrong with it, or they don't compare it to something that's better, and you're just on pins and needles the whole time. It's almost like you're betting on a horse and you hope it wins, and it can be stressful watching these videos, and I get it to a certain degree, but there are channels out there who give honest reviews about things, and then there's ones that just, it's like everything's sunshine and roses all the time, and they're afraid to say anything negative about a product. Now the thing is I try not to bash products, but I mean, I'm going to point out flaws in products, because my job as a YouTuber, and I take that very seriously by the way, is to give you the full spectrum of everything, when I'm reviewing a product. So a lot of times, even when I point out flaws or maybe slight issues with things, I'm doing it so that you're informed, so that you can make an informed decision on the product. Now, some of those flaws or little things, little quirks about products don't mean a lot to people, and sometimes they do. It just depends on what your needs are and what you're looking for in a product. Some people don't care. They're like, oh yeah, it does that or it doesn't do that. I don't care. I'm not buying it for that anyway, so I don't care. But at least you're informed. Last thing I want is for you to buy something and go, man, why didn't he tell me about this? Or why didn't they mention this or whatever? I don't want you to make uninformed decisions. And a lot of times too, like I did with the Tone Master Pro, I pointed out some things that were a little frustrating about the product, but I also showed you a workaround. So I'll try to do that for you as well, because again, my main goal here is to demo things and let you make an informed decision. Because, back in the day we had magazines. We just read a blurb about something, and that's all we had. And everything in the magazine was like, shining happy people about this product. I mean, it was all like positive. Why would a company pay for an ad that said negative things about it? Or you could go into a store and check it out. But a lot of times these days, people buy things online because of all the online stores, and a lot of local stores just don't carry everything. Thank God for Motor City. They carry just about everything. But anyways, so you're kind of relying on us to demo things properly. So I always give you unprocessed audio on my end, and there's no trickery here. And I'm gonna be honest with you about everything. And there's other channels that do that as well. I'm not the shining city on the hill, but I try to do my best here to just inform you about everything. So if I notice something about a product, I will point it out, and I'll try to do it in a productive way. Unless somebody releases something that just completely pisses me off, and it's like, really? That was audacious. Why would you release this piece of shit to the public and expect them to spend money on it? I mean, I'll call people out on that too if I see, just complete nonsense out there. But for the most part, nothing's perfect. But again, I try to inform you so that you can make a good decision. So that may or may not be one of the reasons why my channel's not bigger, but I could tell you one for sure. I own a pressure washing business. I've been in business, is it 24 years now? 23, 24 years. So in the spring, usually around April, I hit the ground running. I mean, I get really busy. My phone's ringing off the hook. A lot of times I get huge contracts with apartment complexes. I mean, a couple years ago, I washed 250 buildings that year, on top of all the truck fleets that I washed, houses, decks, roofs, and driveways and sidewalks and all the other stuff that I did. I mean, it was crazy. And I literally took, I was off about 8 or 9 months that year. I probably made 5 videos that whole time. So because of that, you know, what happens is my channel kind of takes a nosedive because I'm not doing any content. And, you know, the algorithm works against me instead of for me. So that's a problem, because then when my season's over, I come back and I start making videos again. It takes 3 months for the algorithm to forgive me and start bumping me back up again. And then by the time that happens, season starts again. So the last probably 4 years, I've been absolutely swamped every summer. And I've had to take a lot of time off. Sometimes it's 3 months, sometimes it's 9, sometimes it's 7. It just depends on how often my phone rings and what kind of contracts I get. I mean, you know, like the old saying, I got to make hay when the sun shines, and I definitely got bills to pay. But so yeah, so I mean, that's basically how I paid for all this stuff. It's not YouTube money at all. It's pressure washing money, you know, back-breaking work that I've done for it's 24 years now. So I think that that's one of the biggest reasons, is like I don't ignore my channel, but I just don't have the time or the energy to do it sometimes in the summer. I'm hoping that I can pace myself in the upcoming years, including this one, so that doesn't happen. And I've been really working hard on doing that. So I'm going to try some new ideas this year so that I can keep on track with videos and everything. Hopefully by the end of the year, I can look back and go, decision well made. So we'll see how that works out. But thanks so much for commenting and for your support and for watching my videos. I really appreciate that very much. And I hope that clears some things up, because a lot of people do ask me that, like, why isn't your channel bigger? Well, that's the biggest reason why. When you take several months off every year, the algorithm hates you for it and punishes you dearly. Okay, this next comment is from my PV6505-2 First Impressions and Review video. This is from Skip Raft. He says, "Where's it made? Another company turning their back on their homeland for cheaper wages, but then market the product back to the U.S., paying a Judas goat to sell us on it. No thanks, I'll pass." Well, thanks for commenting. I do understand where you're coming from. You know, I'm not going to get into politics here, because this is an escape from all that crap. But the thing is I totally get why people are upset, especially people from Memphis. I remember, I know a friend of mine from there, Dean, and he told me, you know, it was a big hit when PV took their business away and sent it overseas. There's a lot of people from Memphis that really suffered because of that. And I think there was a TV show, I can't remember, Undercover Boss or something, and right after that they kind of shipped everything overseas. I don't know all the things about that, but yeah, it's really sad that that happened. And PV was an American-made company, and a lot of people bought their amps. I mean, PV 5150s were everywhere for years, you know. And I totally understand why some people just don't buy their stuff anymore, because it really hit them hard, especially if you lived in that area. So, and a lot of people either worked there or knew someone that worked there, or was married to somebody that worked there, or related to somebody that worked there. And it was devastating to those people, and I totally get that. It just seems like that's the thing these days. And I'm not excusing it. I'm not saying it's okay, but it's happening more and more. A lot of our American brands are getting made overseas because of cheap labor. And it's really sad. All I can say is, you know, I do what I can on my end to buy American brands and support those people and support those companies, because eventually a lot of them do it because they're like, we're not selling amps because we're getting outmatched price-wise out there in the market, and everyone's undercutting us now, and the only way we can survive is to pretty much follow suit. And the only way we can cut our prices is to send our stuff overseas. I'm not saying it's our fault that companies do that, but we do kind of contribute to some of that by not buying their products. So I just hope that people keep supporting American-made products like, you know, Mesa, like Friedman, like Splawn. What else do I have here? Well, Rev's in Canada, so, you know, oh, I think Bad Cat's also an American-made brand. So, yeah, I mean, just support these guys. And I know it costs more, but I'm telling you, man, these are all great products. You know, they've all worked very well for me, and I have no regrets about buying any of these. So, and I'm really excited about having the Friedman JJ as part of my collection. I freaking love that amplifier. It's awesome. My first Friedman, and I don't regret it at all. But, so what do you guys think? I mean, what do you guys think about PV going overseas? Are you still supporting the brand? No right or wrong here. I'm not going to judge anybody, because I understand we're all on a budget and we have to buy what we have to buy based on our budgets, and we got to have stuff. So I get it, you know. I mean, there's stuff that I'm looking at right now in my room that wasn't made in America, but I had to have it. So I totally understand. But if you can, support American brands as much as you can. And if you can't, you can't. Like I said, I'm not going to judge you. I got stuff made all over the world behind me. So I totally get it, but what are your thoughts on that whole thing? I'd like to see your comments in the comments section. All right, let's have some fun. This next comment is from Ryan Fraley, and this is on my unboxing video that I did of the JEL20. It says, oops, I did it again across the top in case you're looking for it. And he says, how does this, meaning the JEL20, compare to the Badlander? Well, I hooked up the Badlander for you. And we're going to do what I always do on this show. We're gonna shoot them out and do a comparison. So, do I have any overdrives on? No. So I'm going to turn the overdrive off so you can hear them without the boost. I have them dialed in about as good as I can make these things sound. And let's go ahead and compare them now. So when the JEL is on, or I'm opposite land here. Yeah, look down here. You'll see it in the corner here. When I'm playing the Badlander, the JEL will not be there, and you'll just see things how they are right now. So let's go ahead and fire these bad boys up and compare them without the boost, and then I'll engage a boost and compare them that way as well. Okay, so I think it's pretty obvious what the difference is. The Badlander is very, very sculpted, super sculpted amp. I like the voicing of it, but it's really hollowed out. It doesn't have a lot of low end. It has low end, but it definitely could use some more. Where the JEL, I mean, it's really full, and the feel was better too. I kind of felt when I was playing through the Badlander without a boost, again, it just felt kind of weak, you know. And then when I, you know, switched to the JEL, it was like that thump was there, that great feel and response was there without a boost as well, and it just sounded incredible and felt way better. But let's engage a boost. I'm going to do two different kinds of boost pedals just to show you how these compare. Let's start with the Mud Killer, okay? And let's see how they compare with the Mud Killer on now, and then I'll switch from that to the Odd Box. Okay, so the JEL was still much fuller. It just retained that fullness, and it's not a very overly sculpted amp, and the voicing is just glorious on it. And the feel was so much better. Where with the Mud Killer on the Badlander, it sounded even thinner and you know, weaker, and the feel was not good. So let's switch now from the Mud Killer to the Odd Box and see how they compare with that pedal, because the Odd Box really helps the Badlander out quite a bit. And the JEL sounds good with it, but I kind of prefer the JEL sculpted. So then after this, I will pair each amplifier with the proper overdrive pedal and compare them again. So let's see what they both sound like with the Oddbox. Okay, so I still like the feel of the JEL better. It's amazing when you do a back and forth on a switcher between two different amplifiers, you really notice some big differences, not only with the sound but with the feel. And my hands very much preferred the JEL in that particular shootout. So now let's compare them with the overdrive that best suits each amplifier. So I'm going to pick the Mud Killer for the JEL and the Oddbox for the Badlander. And let's compare them now with an overdrive that suits each amplifier the best. So let's start with the Badlander. All right, so a little closer because they're paired with the proper pedal now, and overdrives matter, as you guys know. But I still think that the JEL had a better feel, and it was fuller. So I'm kind of surprised. This is the first time I shot these out. It's amazing that a 20-watt amplifier can be fuller than a 100-watt amplifier, but it all comes down to how did they design the amp. And I think the Badlander is a great amplifier, but if you're looking for something that's fuller, I'd probably go with the JEL. If you're looking for something that's really sculpted, then I would go with the Badlander. So it's up to you. You know, there's no right or wrong answers with that. It's just pick the best one that works for you. I hope this little shootout helped you out. Thanks for commenting. All right, this next comment is from my last Riffs and Responses video, and this is from Papa Slapnuts. He says, great video. What do you think is the best option for stage sound with the quad CORTEX? Power amp and guitar cabinet or Fender FR cab? Well, thanks for commenting, and I love the name. That's hilarious, Papa Slapnuts. Well, I guess it depends on your budget and how much gear you want to carry and how heavy you want it to be. The thing that I really liked about the Fender FR cab was it was light. It's very affordable. I think it was like $550 or something like that. I think it's 1,000 watts. So it's pretty damn loud. And I could literally pick it up with my arm extended to the side, you know. It's probably because of the biceps that I have and the huge shoulder development. But it doesn't matter. Even if you have little girl arms, you could probably pick it up too. So it was easy to pick up. It's easy to carry around. It's not as expensive as a real cab and a power amp. Because when you get into power amp land, you got to get a tube amp. If you're going to use a digital platform like the quad CORTEX and you're going to run it through one of those crappy, anemic, solid state power amps, it's going to sound like shit. I hate those things. It's very rare when I find a solid state power amp that actually sounds good. And so it kind of defeats the purpose, right? You want great tone on stage, but you got this anemic little solid state power amp and it just doesn't sound good or feel good. So it sucks tone. It doesn't, I'm telling you, if you've ever had them side by side with a tube power amp and a solid state, you would be amazed at the difference, So anyways, I honestly think that if I was to go out and gig right now with the quad CORTEX, I would, and I had to have some sort of monitoring situation on stage, I think the Fender FR would be perfect. I thought that thing sounded amazing. I mean, I plugged into it, I had everything at noon, and the first chord, the first few chugs, I'm like, son of a bitch, I'm playing through an amp right now. It felt great, it sounded great, and it didn't have all those weird things that a lot of other FR cabs have. They're either nasally, congested, muffled sounding, or there's always some quirk with them, or they're harsh. This thing sounded very balanced and very good. And I remember last week when I was on the phone with Fender, I commended them on that. I'm like, man, that cab blew me away. It was awesome. And he's like, well, I mean, we've been making guitar cabinets for decades, so I hope it came out good. I mean, you know, we kind of expected that to be the case. So I was like, you know what? Well said by a company who's done nothing but made guitar gear for years and years. And so when you take that cabinet and you compare it to other companies, and I'm not shitting on other companies, I'm just saying that Fender makes guitar cabinets. So when they make an FR/FR, they're going to have that kind of mentality when they make it. And a lot of these other companies that are making FR/FR cabs, they don't make guitar cabinets, so they don't really understand all that stuff. They don't have that DNA in them to apply to the FR/FR. So if you really want my honest answer about it, I would definitely say get the Fender FR/FR, unless you want to spend the money and get, you know, a real tube power amp. KSR sells one. It's the PA50. It's a tube power amp. It's about the size of a small loaf of bread. And you hook that up to a real cab and you'll get really great tone. So, but if you're not planning on doing anything like that, like with a real power amp, real tube power amp and a real cab, then just get the FR/FR from Fender and call it a day. I really think you'll like it. I hope that helped, and thanks for commenting. All right, this next comment is from Zen Sutra Guitar. I hope I pronounced that right. And this is on my 5 reasons why you hate your amplifier video. He says, thanks Jarrod for another video with great advice. I've been watching your channel now for a couple of years and always enjoy it. Thank you. I really appreciate that. That means a lot. I have a quick question for you. I just got a Mesa Boogie JP2C and I love it. Congrats, dude. I love mine too. You can weld that thing to my shelf. It's never going anywhere. I was thinking of trying out a boost pedal with it just for shits and giggles. What boost pedal do you recommend that works well with it? I was considering the Wild Audio MXR or maybe the Electric Eye Mud Killer. Also, I have a Carbon Legacy Steve Vai amp I'd use a boost pedal with too. Thanks again. Well, thanks for watching my videos. I appreciate the support and the kind words. And again, congrats on the amplifier. So I already responded to you in the comment section, but I also told you I was going to, you know, include your comment and question in my riffs and responses video. So I want to give you a proper shootout with some boost pedals with that amplifier. So one of the things that I mentioned to you in the comments section too was that you can actually, this is an active EQ on the JP, so you can actually take the treble knob and crank it all the way up and it tightens the amp up and adds that aggression to it, and then adjust the bass down quite a bit and then feather in the mids accordingly, and then you got this really nice tight amplifier that's sculpted the way you want it. Now that works for a lot of people. That's why people say you never boost a mark. Well, it has a boost pedal built into it, really. That's the tone stack. Sometimes it doesn't work for everybody. I'm one of those people that could kind of go either way, but I prefer a boost pedal. But what's nice about the tone stack too is when you do boost it, you can still adjust the treble, bass, and mids and really fine-tune the amplifier for that particular boost pedal. So if you want a little more bite, turn the treble up a little bit more. Or if you got too much of it, you can back it off. So I think that is really what makes that amplifier super flexible with different boost pedals. But let's start with, is my Mud Killer on? No. So let's turn the Mud Killer on right now. I'm on channel 2. And let's see how the amp responds to the Mud Killer. Sounds great with the Mud Killer so far. Maybe I had to do some fine tuning or whatnot, but let me go ahead and, ooh, I got the skinny knob turned up quite a bit. Let me back that down. Maybe that's why it was a little bit thin for me. Let me try it again, and then I'll turn the pedal off and then on again and tell you what I think. Yeah, that actually sounds really good. So let me turn it off and then back on again. Yeah, that's money. But let me take it a step further and adjust the tone stack a little bit and really fine tune it, and I'll tell you what I come up with. That's freaking evil. So the mids, when you go past noon, they actually, on this amplifier, they do add a little bit of gain. So they change the gain structure a little bit. So that actually is a nice feature. So, and I have the gain pushed in too. It's not pulled out. Gain's at about just past 3 o'clock. And I got the treble at 2 o'clock. And I got the mids at almost 3 o'clock. And the bass is at like 8 o'clock, you know. So try that with the Mud Killer. And on the Mud Killer, I have the gain all the way down, you know, the volume all the way up. And let's see here, the fat skinny knob is at 11 o'clock, and then I got the tone at like 3 o'clock on it. And then you can adjust it accordingly, according to your taste, pickups, cab, all that stuff. But that's a good starting point. So let's do one more pedal. Let's try the Odd Box. That's one of my favorites too. So let's see how that works. So I'm going to switch from the Mud Killer to the Odd Box now. That is gnarly as hell, dude. Oh my God, it's a little fuller. So you probably want to bring the bass down and maybe one of the faders down too, and graphic EQ, just nudge it down a little bit. And it might want a little more bite, so bring the treble up just a hair, because the Odd Box is pretty flat. It doesn't really give you any EQ spikes or anything. It's pretty transparent, so let's try that. I just made some slight adjustments. Dude, buy them both. Seriously. I'm not trying to sell you a bunch of pedals, but these two pedals are always on my pedal board because I'll pick one or the other with certain amps, and some days if both of them work with a certain amplifier, I'll just be in the mood for one or the other, and I'm glad I have them both. They're just great pedals to have. They're very versatile, and they're awesome. So, I mean, if you can, just buy them both, and you'll be glad that they're in your collection, especially if you have other amplifiers, which I'm pretty sure you said you did. So it's always good to keep a couple of overdrives laying around because, man, I'm telling you, I got like 10 of them, and there's days I come down here, and I'll fire up an amp, and I'll click my usual pedal that I've been using for weeks and weeks and months, and it just doesn't work for me. I don't know why. It's just, you know, we're guitar players. We're a bunch of freaking weirdos. Doesn't work for me, and I just go, well, I'll turn that off. And a lot of times I'll, you know, like, what's wrong with my amp? Or is my guitar, something wrong with my guitar? Like, what the hell? And it's me. I'm just being an idiot. So I'll turn that pedal off, pick something else, and all of a sudden, like, oh, there it is. And it's a pedal that I haven't used in 6 months, but for some reason today, it's like the freaking best pedal in the world. So it's nice to have a couple different pedals in your collection because we're finicky morons and we are constantly changing our taste in things. And then you'll think, like, I'll never play that other pedal again. Well, guess what? In 6 months, it's right back in the rotation again. So it's just nice to have a couple pedals. So if you can, get them both. And I'll tell you, like the odd box is super affordable. I think it's like 120 bucks or something like that. I mean, one of the best pedals out there, only 120 bucks. So get it while you can, because I'm afraid Warm Audio is going to be like, why don't we raise our prices? We're selling the shit out of these. So again, they're both great. Try them both out and see what you think. And I think you should keep them both. Thanks again for watching the channel. I really appreciate it, and I hope this helped you out. Okay, so for this segment, we're going to talk about something that I think is absolutely hilarious and stupid at the same time. So it looks like everybody's favorite musician, and I put that in quotes for people who are just listening, Squirt Gun Sally, came out with a new signature guitar that he's trying to sell through Schecter. And I can't believe Schecter is working with this clown. Seriously. I mean, this is pretty much as bad as Shure teaming up with Yoko Ono for a signature microphone. Yeah, they're going to sell the hell out of those. I just think it's absolutely ridiculous. I think Schecter makes great guitars. I have their Banshee Mach 7 upstairs, and I love that guitar. And I'm like, oh my God, you're working with this with MGK for a signature guitar? I mean, as if that pink piece of shit wasn't bad enough. That freaking Pepto-Bismol bottle with strings on it. I mean, what a disgusting piece of shit that was. So now they came up with this stupid razor blade looking garbage. And we're going to take a look at it on a website pretty soon here. But before we do that, I'm baffled at why any company would work with this moron, first of all. And secondly, why would you come up with a guitar that looks like a razor blade? It looks stupid. It's so cringe. And it's like somebody's trying to be cool. Like, oh, bro, my guitar looks like a razor blade, dude. No serious musician will ever play a guitar that looks like that. How are you going to practice? There's a reason why there's this area here on the guitar. It's sculpted that way so you can set it on your leg and practice it. But then again, anybody who plays a stupid looking piece of shit like that doesn't really practice anyways, because you can't be a good guitar player if you have something like that. You have to have some goofy, gimmicky guitar to make up for your lack of talent. I'll tell you what, if I see a grown-ass man playing that thing, I hope he's got a good proctologist. I'll just put it to you that way. And here's the thing too. So, okay, so MGK's got a fan base, which it just blows my mind that anybody, likes his quote-unquote music, because I think it's not music. It's just noise set to a click. But this guitar is not marketed towards his fans, like his fans that just listen to his music. It's marketed towards guitar players. And I just don't understand why any guitar player would want to buy this thing. Again, unless it's some kid that just wants something cool, and it's going to end up in his closet in a couple weeks anyways. He's just buying it to show his friends and whatnot. And yeah, oh, you see Billy's razor blade guitar, I just don't see why you would come up with an instrument that looks that stupid and is that useless and you can't practice with for guitar players. So let's go over to the website right now and take a look at this turd and just discuss it. All right, so here we are on a website. Let's take a look at this thing. So it's $14.99, which is $1,498 overpriced. So it's not worth even that much. So what do we got here? E-standard body shape razor blade. So there's a new body shape that we all have to freaking contend with now. Razor blade. What a joke. Three-piece maple neck. Thin C neck shape, like it matters. The guy can't play to save his life anyways. I never seen anybody try so hard to look like he doesn't give a shit about singing or performing or playing his guitar. I mean, who smokes while they sing on a podcast? I mean, what an idiot. Let's see here. So it's the 22 frets, It's a bolt-on neck joint. And he's got his stupid double X inlays. Stupid. And bridge pickup is a Pasadena Plus bridge pickup. Ooh. And ooh, look at the controls and the switching. The master volume kill switch control. Hopefully it self-destructs when you hit that freaking kill switch. It just like disintegrates. That would be the best thing that could ever happen to that stupid thing. $14.99 for this turd. What a joke. I mean, this thing is the perfect example of an anti-guitar. You know, I mean, you could tell how not serious of a musician he is. You can't practice with it unless you're standing up, and I don't know many people that do that. And so that means you're not really going to play it that often. It's not a player's instrument. It's just a gimmick. That's all it is. And the thing that really makes me sick is I have a 7-string Schecter Banshee Mach 7 upstairs with a Lundgren pickup in the bridge, a Sustainiac in the neck, and it's a neck-through design, and it's gorgeous, and it plays like a dream. I got the floating, you know, Floyd Rose trem on it, locking headstock, you know, partridge in a pear tree, you know, kitchen sink guitar, amazing. And that's only like, I think $100 more than this thing. Where do you think most of the money's going? It's lining this douchebag's pockets. That's where it's going. This talentless rube. It's going in his pocket. Because there's really not much to this guitar. You know, it's just a basic bitch, simple guitar. No frills except for the kill switch and the shitty design. Other than that, it's just a hunk of wood with a neck sticking out of it with some strings on it, you know. And no disrespect to Schecter and you know, whatever, but it's like, why are you working with this clown? You know, I mean, he is the most untalented, douchey kind of person, in my opinion, in the music industry. He epitomizes everything I hate about the music industry. It's all wrapped up into this clown. So I hope these things rot on the shelves, and everyone involved in this stupid project that's an absolute joke learn their lesson and stop working with idiots like him who have zero talent and from what I hear, pretty much zero respect among his quote-unquote peers in the music industry. Seriously, if I was at a show and I saw some idiot playing that on stage, I would laugh myself off my bar stool. How do you take somebody seriously when they're playing a stupid-looking guitar like that? It just shows that I don't have any talent, but I'm going to use this gimmick to cover up for it, you know? Anyways, what are your guys' thoughts on that stupid piece of shit? I want to know what your thoughts are, and I look forward to seeing the comments in the old comments section. Well, I'm in editing mode on the video right now, and I just realized that I forgot to record my Album of the Week segment, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So my pick for Album of the Week is Enigmatic Calling by a band called Pagan's Mind. Now, I really, really love this band. They actually have this kind of outer worldly sound. They almost sound like a band that came from another planet, but is heavily influenced by power and prog from Earth. And if you listen to this band, you'll understand what I'm talking about. And I mean this is in a very complimentary way. They have this outer worldly kind of galactic sound to them with a lot of earthly prog and power band influences. And I really, really like the soundscapes that these guys create. I mean, the keyboardist really does a great job in creating those awesome soundscapes. And the guitar player, Jarrod, is very, very good. He actually, if I remember correctly, he plays a 5150 or a 6505 amplifier in most of their stuff, and even live, and he just sounds incredible. He's got great tone. He makes that thing sound amazing, and he's an amazing player. I love his leads. They're really fast but very melodic, and they're kind of riffy, if that makes sense. He's got a lot of really cool riffs that he does, and he uses a chorus pedal in a very unique way as well. I remember messaging him a couple years ago about how he uses his chorus pedal. It almost sounds a little bit phaser-ish, but it's an actual chorus pedal. And he told me how he did that, and I really appreciated that. So he's been a pretty big influence on me as well as a player, because I just love how riffy he gets in his solos. It's not all just melodies and shredding. There's some riffs in there too that are just really cool, you know? So I highly recommend these guys. And the whole band is very talented. You know, like I said, it's kind of prog and it's kind of power metal put together. It's prog power kind of thing. And the singer is amazing. He's got this very unique but also very likable voice, and he can hit some notes, man. And I'm going to link in the description of this video, I'm going to link to a concert that they did in 4K. I think it was a couple years ago or several years ago. I don't know. It was semi-recent, and I very much enjoyed the concert. It was awesome. Everybody was at the top of their game, and it just sounded and looked incredible. I loved the performances in this concert, and it was just very inspiring, and I enjoyed every single moment of it. So I'll link that in there as well, so make sure you give that a listen and crank it up on your stereo system at home and watch it on your TV or whatever. It really is an awesome concert. So if you haven't checked out Pegan's Mind, all of their albums are very good. This is one of my favorites, so go ahead and give it a listen and tell me what you think. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and thanks a lot for spending some time with me today. I really appreciate it. And to all my subscribers and Patreon supporters, thank you guys so much. And if you're looking to get some really good guitar tones and you play Tonex, Quad Cortex, or Kemper, go to my website below, tonewars.com, and get some awesome brutal guitar tones and some great cleans too for any one of those platforms, and enjoy them. I've been getting a lot of great feedback on them, and thank you so much to everyone who's been buying them. I really appreciate you guys immensely. And if you're new to the channel and you like what I do here, please subscribe and click the bell so that you can be notified every time I either go live or come out with another episode. I got a lot more stuff coming up for you guys, and I will see you on the next one.